Hey, Flaco. Hey, Flaco. Why you not so Flaco? Why you gordo? Yes, it's Professor Charlie. Hello, everybody. My name is Kaylee Nichols, and I am an environmental enthusiast. Today, I would like to talk to everybody about the oceans, because oceans are pretty cool. They're pretty awesome. Everything that lives in there is pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen anything that lives in there, but they're pretty freaking sweet. Like narwhals. Do you guys know about narwhals? They kind of look like unicorns. Why do they have such a giant horn out of their head? We don't even know. They just like have a giant horn sticking out of their head. I think it's probably to impress us females, or the female narwhals, that is. Like who has the biggest horn. Bioluminescence, those things are pretty cool. Bacteria that live in these creatures that like light up and stuff. It's probably one of the coolest things that exists on this earth. Not to mention that the earth harbored our earliest ancestors. I don't know if you guys know about this, but there have been 5 mass extinctions on the face of the planet since it started. There's one called the Late Devonian mass extinction, where 3/4 of all species on Earth died. Life in the shallow seas was, I think, the most impacted. It wasn't until about 100 million years later that new coral started to develop. For the most part, there wasn't much life in the ocean at this point. What was the cause of this mass extinction? Archaeologists and people who can date stuff, they speculate that it was the changes in sea level. Most of the sea became devoid of oxygen in this mass extinction, which is kind of like what's happening today. I don't know if you guys have heard of dead zones. They're popping up everywhere. It's kind of really scary. Their distribution does match that of the global human footprint. They are caused by an unbalanced ecosystem, as you can see on the right-hand side of this picture. Where excess nutrients added by us through agricultural activity are causing excess algal growth. So the algae dies and sinks to the bottom, where it decomposes, using up oxygen in the oceans. Who thinks that we don't need our oceans? Just show of hands. So Stephen Harper, he's been in power since 2006, and guess what he's done? He cut funding for 2,000 environmental programs. Sciences which raise cautionary flags about our environment, about expenses that they will have to pay to try and fix stuff, aren't going to do very well because they don't want to pay for it. And those which support economic industry growth, they will do well. So Harper says to all of Canada, hey, we don't want any more ocean pollution monitoring because we don't need that.
When I arrived at my desk, 8:30 one morning, and there was an email indicating that I was to meet with managers in the boardroom upstairs at 9 a.m. And then at 5 to 9, I walked out of my office, and everybody in my entire wing walked out of their office, walked upstairs and into the boardroom. No eye contact. Everyone was staring at their shoes. There's a box of Kleenex in the middle of the table. without any conversation beginning, we all knew what was happening. A letter was read to us that had been written in Ottawa, announcing the termination of our entire program. No more ocean pollution research and monitoring. We don't consider this to be part of our mandate.
This is definitely a good time for our government to cut our oceans funding. But whatever, we don't need oceans. We don't need to monitor them. I mean, whatever, man. Jellyfish. Jellyfish are pretty freaking cool. They're the only thing, really, that has survived the big 5 mass extinctions. They're very simple. They don't have a brain. They don't have a heart. They don't have lungs or gills. No, I'm not talking about the Tin Man. Jellyfish blooms have been kind of popping up everywhere as well. There's a jellyfish bloom that occurred in Australia in the year 2000. It stretched over 1,609 kilometers from north to south, and it was visible from space. Why are jellyfish just like taking over the ocean? People think it's overfishing of their predators, like tuna and other large predatory fish, and other creatures which usually compete for the food that jellyfish would be eating. So there's more food for the jellyfish to just like keep growing and making babies and stuff. They prefer warmer waters. So yeah. Most of them are about 500 million years old. And other forms are just a little bit younger, but the same, they're very old. So at least when everything else is dead, the jellyfish will be alright. So that's good. But it's okay, because Canada's Minister of the Environment will put things right?
The world will not stand by and wait while Canada endlessly deliberates the merits of its resource potential and squanders its legacy. Canada is well known for its high environmental standards, and they will be enhanced. But we must also seize the enormous opportunities presented to our country in the global market so we can secure prosperity for future generations of Canadians.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, okay. This talk has been kind of inspired by the CBC's fifth estate called Silence of the Labs. You guys should definitely watch it. It made me cry, but it was very insightful, and I gained new perspective.